Yes, you've made it to the Cooking Basics course. I'm really excited for you. I just want to give you an idea of how the course is laid out. So at the beginning of this course, I go over a lot of the fundamentals that you want to know or learn before you start cooking. Yeah, they might not be the funnest, right? Like food safety and the equipment and all that. These are the essential things that I really think you're going to need. And then there's some other material in there that kind of gives you an idea what else could help you in your cooking journey. And then we'll work further down on how to build flavor. That section on how to build flavor is huge, super important. Make sure you follow that. Now, my content, sometimes it's long-winded. It's like, man, this guy keeps going on about whatever it is. But I have people like on my YouTube channel and my website that really enjoy that, like every little step and every little nuance and more information. And I really encourage you to get the most out of this course is to incorporate the things that you learn and practice them in building flavor. Follow that process and do it with multiple different vegetables or different meats in a pan. And don't forget the tomato test. It's super important. Once that triggers in your brain and you realize that, that'll change your cooking forever. In my cooking pasta video, I want you to go do the same exact thing. In the rice video, cook that also. And then the last meal in the course, I encourage you to get all those ingredients and then cook it with me. Follow along, make the same food so we can experience the same recipe. All right, so that's enough about the intro. I really encourage you to jump in, learn how to build flavor, learn how to cook, and I'm super excited for you. All right, so this section of the course, we're talking about kitchen essentials. We're going to cover the equipment that you need in your kitchen to be a successful home cook. We're going to cover pots and pans, knives and cutting boards. We're going to cover the hand tools you need like spoons and spatulas. And I'm also going to cover some things that like miscellaneous that you really need to have, like peelers and things like that. And then at the end of the section, I have some nice to have, some things that you might consider getting and purchasing as you evolve as a home cook. This might not be the funnest part of the course, but if you learn the essential equipment that you need, it's going to make your cooking a lot easier and it's going to make you a lot more successful in your kitchen. So let's jump into it. All right, for home cooking, you're going to need some cutting boards and you're going to need some knives. You could probably get away with just one cutting board for everything, but I would probably suggest at least having two. Now, when I think with meat with a cutting board, if you get a cutting board like this one, this is what I've used for a long time when I'm cutting up a whole chicken or just some chicken. But the beauty of a board like this is it has a trough that goes around it like this. And that's going to be able to pick up any liquid from like a whole chicken or say some beef that you're cutting up. And when you put it on the cutting board, it starts leaking out. If you have a flat cutting board like any of the other ones here, it just runs right off and it makes a big mess, right? And if you're doing raw chicken, you definitely don't want to do that. So get yourself a cutting board for your meat specifically that has a trough to it. Maybe not after cooked if that's not such a big deal because usually it's not as much liquid. But when you're preparing chicken or beef or a poultry of some sort, it's a good idea to have one with the trough. Another consideration when you're thinking about cutting boards is wood or plastic. I personally like wood cutting boards. It is proven too that washing a wood cutting board is just as clean as washing a plastic cutting board. And some people don't think that because when you're actually cutting into a cutting board, you're actually making small little cuts in the cutting board. And you clean those just as well in the wood as you do in a plastic. It's a misconception that plastic is better. I cut up a lot of my chicken on this brown board, and it's a wood board. It's actually really nice. It's a walnut. Now, one thing to consider when you're buying cutting boards is how easy it is to move, right? Little guy like this, you can be chopping up vegetables, things like that, and it's really easy to move, right? So you can cut them up. You're preparing your food, and you can just take the cutting board and bring it right over to your pan or dish and slide it right into the dish, right? That makes little guys like this easy. I'll have links to all of this stuff down below the video too, the ones I carry. The other ones I really like too here are these other little boost boards, but they have a little handle here that you can grab onto. And the size, right? it's that same thing. Like I can bring this over to my pan on the stove and just push my food into the pan if I want to. I could go over to the trash bin and just swipe it off if I'd like to. That's what makes these cutting boards really versatile. Now I do have a massive cutting board here, and what is the benefit of a big cutting board? There's two things. Like one benefit is if you're preparing a lot of vegetables, it kind of gives you an area to push stuff away. So you're not trying to cut or chop and you got a whole bunch of things in the way. That's one benefit. Like in another benefit of a big cutting board is you're preparing for a meal, you can get it all piled up here. Like there's enough room to cut your onion here, move it, cut your garlic, put it in a section. Say you're cutting up some carrots, you were going to saute carrots. So you got onion, garlic, and or mushrooms. It gives you a much bigger surface area to prepare ingredients. There is one more consideration I would think about when it comes to cutting boards is if you have a cutting board that you are always cutting onions on, or say garlic, and preparing those, right? Even though you wash that cutting board, you still might have some of that flavor in the board. Problem with this is if you go to cut fruit on that, a lot of fruits will absorb that onion or garlic smell instantly. So if it's savory foods, like you're cutting up some chicken on it, maybe not some, cooked chicken, maybe it's not a big deal because it's already got a ton of flavor and picking up a little onion flavor or something, it won't be bad. But if you're cutting up a lot of fruit, you're probably going to want a cutting board that's strictly for fruit. All right, so a little bit of maintenance with cutting boards. It's always good after you use these, give them a good scrub, a good washing, and then dry them and put them somewhere to dry. You want them to fully dry. That's really important with cutting boards. So give them hot soap and water, get it all off. I'll leave the maintenance up to the cutting board or wood, up to you and how you do it. I'm not going to go into that in this, this cooking course, but it's really important to make sure you wash them really well. And wash them really well if you're using chicken and let them dry completely before you reuse them. All right, so you're gonna be a great home cook. There's something you really need and have to have is a good chef knife. Super important. Chef knife is the knife that you need when you're cooking. So a real common knife is an 8-inch chef knife. It's just the right size for most cooking. And when you're picking out a chef knife, try to find one where you can actually test and feel it, right? You wanna hold it like that. You want to make it sure it feels comfortable. You want it to be the right weight. You don't want it to be too heavy. But get them, go feel them, get them in your hands. It's really important to hold a knife. I'll go a little more in detail later with the ingredients section about cutting and chopping with a knife. But for now, just it's important to know that you want to get yourself a good 8-inch chef knife. There are some great deals out there. On different types of knives. You don't have to spend a ton of money on a chef knife, but if you're going to have any knife as a home cook, the chef knife is super important. The next knife that's super important is a paring knife. Like, could you get away with a chef knife than a paring knife? Absolutely. I don't use these as much as most people. I'm just super comfortable with my chef knife, so I use it most of the time. But a paring knife is a great knife to have. Chopping little things, shallots, some fruits, vegetables, even if you're just cutting some meat up or something that you just prepared and you want a small knife that's more manageable, paring knives are good. You can also use it for paring stuff, but it's really an all-around good little knife to have. Third knife that's not as important but really nice to have is a bread knife. So a bread knife, when you're cutting bread, it helps go through and saw the food rather than squish it. You try to cut bread with a chef knife and you're going to typically just squish that bread and it doesn't cut it so smoothly. So a bread knife is useful, but this is to the bottom of the list. So in the end, all the knives, chef knife, the most important knife to get in your kitchen. Go hold them, make sure you get the one you want. And when we're talking about knives, there's one thing that is super important. This knife does not last forever being sharp. When you buy these, they're super sharp. And I think one reason that home cooks get hurt the most is because they're using a dull knife. The sharper the knife, the better it is and the easier it is to handle. So you want to make sure it's super sharp. One easy way to maintain a knife, and it's not expensive, is go get yourself one of these. It's just a simple, basic knife sharpener. They're really easy to use. You're just going to put it down like that. They got two settings, coarse and fine. Coarse is more if you're like trying to refix the edge of your knife. But fine is something that you'd be constantly to maintain your knife, and just simply going to brace it and pull your knife through. Brace it, pull your knife new. And follow the instructions for every knife sharpener that you have. But super important, these are like $20 at Bed Bath Beyond or any of those type of stores. But it's something you really want to think about. Don't start sharpening your knives now so that you always sharpen them and keep a sharp blade. It's going to make it a lot safer for you in the kitchen. I also have a couple YouTube videos I'll link to that I did videos on chef knives and essential kitchen knives for the home cook. Check out those videos that goes a little more in depth into the knives.